It is now 6:30, and it's time for us to begin our meeting. We have the absolute pleasure of having the pastor at the Loganville Baptist Church with us tonight, Pastor Steve Morris, and we'd ask him if he would to come up to the podium and open up our invocation. Shall we stand?
Let's pray. Holy Father, it is our privilege to bow before you and acknowledge that you are sovereign over all. And we ask tonight that you would grant wisdom. Father, that you would work in the hearts and the minds of the council and the city leaders, Lord, the audience, the community, that we would think thoughts that honor you. Father, as we prepare to celebrate the greatest message that has ever been given in the crucifixion and the resurrection of your Son this weekend, we ask that you would cause us to think deeply about where we stand before you. Father, that you would help our hearts and our minds to desire what is right and true. And Lord Jesus, that you would smile and show favor to us as you lead us to give you only glory. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, we pray tonight. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Steve. We appreciate you. We also would like to ask somebody that's got a new job with the city, and we're just trying to keep him busy, but we're struggling because he's that good. But we'd like to ask Chief Lowry if he'd come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Be glad to, sir. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. Thank you, everybody. Okay, the first order for today is we need a motion to adopt the consent agenda that was, do what? Okay, yeah, to adopt the agenda? That's what I was going to say. To adopt the agenda that was approved, well, the agenda that's in front of us. Okay, second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the agenda is now approved. And now we'll move on. First order of business is to have a motion to accept the consent agenda, which was developed Monday night at the work session. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The consent agenda is approved. We want to do one thing, and I know we have a person here that's special to us right now, and Jay Bolden would like to introduce this person, or have Dick Lowry introduce this person as a new person in our police force. Jay?
I'm just going to turn it over to Chief Lowry.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Bowling. Mayor and council, citizens, it's our pleasure to introduce to you our newest sworn officer at Loganville Police Department, Alejandra Perez Vega, or Alex as we call her. She graduated the Police Academy 3 weeks ago?
Yes.
3 weeks ago. She is working through her field training every day and working very hard, and we're very proud of her progress. Won't be very long at all that she'll be out here on her own, patrolling the streets and doing the things that we do. And we're extremely proud to be able to say she is our very first Hispanic female police officer at Loganville Police Department. So, welcome, Alex.
Welcome.
Now, I told you a few minutes ago you didn't have to speak if you didn't want to, but you're going to have to make a speech.
Welcome. I've heard good things.
That's super. Super. Welcome aboard. You're going to find Loganville is a great city. You'll enjoy it. We're also going to move next to a traffic study presentation by KCI, who's the company we hired about 3 months ago or so. And Bill Duvall, would you introduce our guest?
So, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So,
As everyone knows, we've been working on this project for a little over a year now. At this juncture in the process, KCI is going to present, I guess, maybe the final time to the council, and then we'll wrap up the report. Andrew is up first. Andrew from KCI is the project manager. He's led this project, and he has Jessica with him today. So I want to just turn it over, unless you take it from here.
All right, thank you, Bill. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Glad to be here. So I'm with KCI Technologies, Andrew Antweiler. I've been the project manager for this study, and with me tonight is Jessica Choi with Kimberly Horn Associates. Tonight we wanted to present the final recommendations. We have been in front of you before. You've seen us at the public meetings. So if we can get the next slide. We will be brief with our presentation tonight, but want to hit a few highlights, and so we'll work through these slides pretty quickly. In terms of what we wanted to touch on tonight, it includes some results from the public meeting that we held in February, and then present our final recommendations and a list of prioritized projects. So this is really an opportunity for you to ask us any questions, and this will be a chance for you to see this before it comes to you next month for adoption of the complete report for the study. Next slide. For the purpose of this study was really to identify the current transportation needs in the city and then develop those short-term and long-term projects. And so now the city is in a much stronger position to request funding for these projects from partner agencies. Next slide. So our study process included, identifying what those needs were, talking to the community, hearing from them about what they'd like to see improved, and identifying those projects. Through that community input, we have now finalized a list of projects to help the city. Next slide. This is included, as you mentioned, we started 1 year ago. We've held meetings throughout the course of the project with city staff and opportunities. We have also conducted online surveys and held 2 public meetings to get input from the community. Next slide. So one thing the study recommends is to continue the support of and partnering with GDOT, advocating for some planned projects that are already on the books. These include the 4 projects listed here. 2 of those are the widening projects of State Route 20, and then the widening project on State Route 20 and State Route 81. The 4th project listed there is that safety improvement on US 78 near the Publix driveway. So those are all recommended to continue moving forward and support. We looked at identifying other projects in addition to those. Next slide. So some results from our public meeting in February. We had 51 attendees. We presented those draft projects, a draft list of the prioritization of those projects, and got feedback from the community, and also posted that information on the website after the meeting. Next slide. So we did ask for input on what was the prioritized projects, and the community responded. Those attendees said they really liked the idea of the South Side Access Road. The segment right there at the State Route 20 crossing received the most interest and support. And they also liked the segment 3, which is providing the secondary street between Tommy Lee Fuller and the Kroger Shopping Center. So by slowly building out this network of the South Side Access Road, there is a secondary network to help people move around without having to get onto US 78. Next slide. Also in the public meeting, we did get some feedback on all of the projects, and the interest was there for the projects identified in Tier 1. Also, there was a lot of interest in the multimodal projects, which Jessica will talk about in just a moment. Next slide. And so our recommendations covered a lot of different areas. We had intersection recommendations, traffic signal upgrades, multimodal improvements, and we also looked at the potential for some policy modifications regarding interparcel access and access management, which would involve the city code. Also looked at, there's an opportunity to explore development impact fees to help fund these transportation improvements. Next slide. So you should have received in your packet prior to tonight's meeting, we have this table which lists all of the projects, a short description, the estimated cost for these, as well as some funding options. And so that's meant to help the city understand what funding to pursue for different types of projects. Next slide. I know this map is hard to see, but it is on the website. It was presented at the public meeting. So we have identified where those projects are located in the city, the intersection and the street projects. And the next slide shows kind of a zoomed-in view of the South Side Access Road idea. This is actually an idea that was in the previous LCI study for the city, and we just kind of took it the next step and identified where those segments could be, how they could potentially be, constructed in partnership with development, redevelopment, to build out that secondary road. The next slide presents the locations of the multimodal projects. I know it's a little hard to see on the screen, but I'm going to ask Jessica to talk to that.
Good evening. We can actually jump to the next slide, please. Andrew mentioned earlier that we had some bicycle and pedestrian projects that we're considering as a part of this project. It was a need that was identified by the public, and we really took a step further as a part of this study. So really looking at where are some of the key activity centers and places that people want to go, parks, libraries, town center, and really looking at connecting those places so people can bike and walk to those places instead of driving. And so we've been able to align some of the city proposed projects with GDOT initiatives to make sure that there is some cross collaboration and even potential for funding partnerships in the future. So that was definitely something that we prioritize as part of the process. And I do want to mention we have multi-use paths recommended as a part of this study. They are separated facilities that are off-road, so they're not running alongside of vehicles. Some of the benefits we've aligned here just to say that they really accommodate a range of users. And so when you see multi-use path, that's what we mean. Next slide, please. So we have our projects here listed and shown on the map, 5 project segments total. There are 2 projects that we have additionally that are not shown on this map. The first is the GDOT widening project that Andrew mentioned earlier, as well as Southside Access Road. All of those facilities we imagine to have additional bike and ped accommodations. And like what we mentioned, sidewalks and multi-use paths were really the focus of our bicycle and pedestrian recommendations here. Next slide.
We also, in coordination with our partner agencies, did discuss with GDOT District 1 about the potential to relocate State Route 20 off of Main Street. And so we have an initial option, which would relocate that onto US 78 and State Route 81. GDOT would likely support this location as long as there are some intersection improvements made where those trucks make those turning movements. Next slide. So this all kind of gets us to what are the prioritized projects. We went through a process. We first evaluated those projects based on the study goals listed here. That was a technical assessment of the needs, how those projects met the needs and those goals. And then we presented those at the public meeting, like I mentioned. We received feedback from the public as well as from city staff, and just moved a couple of projects around to align with the goals of the city. So next slide actually shows, there's 2 slides here, and this matches your table in front of you. But wanted to point out, we had this concept of 3 tiers for priorities. So tier 1 is kind of that higher priority, what the city can focus on first. There are 6 projects located within that tier. Tier 2 is more of a medium priority, still great projects, but those might have a secondary focus. Now, the intent of this is that City Council can choose to move forward on any of these projects at any time. For instance, if the opportunity comes along, or there's a development happening, or some funding opportunity arises, that you could take a project out of Tier 2 and move that forward. This is just to help when you pursue funding, that you can show we did go through a process of prioritizing these projects. Next slide shows the projects in the Tier 3, and there are a total of about 32 projects with some alternatives within these 3 different tiers. Next slide. I will quickly just mention, we included tonight the concept layouts for the 6 intersections or 6 projects within that Tier 1. This is the intersection improvement, a short-term improvement at US 78 and State Route 81. Next slide shows a roundabout at State Route 81 and Twin Lakes Road. And the idea is that this improvement would provide both vehicle improvement at the intersection as well as the bike ped crossing of State Route 81 with the parks right there nearby. And the next slide shows one of the multi-use path segments along State Route 81. So this could be combined with that roundabout and get a multi-use path up to US 78. Next slide is the project which the city's been working on to realign Rock Road with Leeburg Road and install a roundabout at State Route 81. Next slide is a intersection improvement right out here in front of City Hall, which would add turn lanes and upgrade that traffic signal to have the pedestrian crosswalks. And GDOT is actually taking this concept and pursuing a funding opportunity for that one. So that was an early win out of this study. And then the last slide shows that Southside Access Road concept at State Route 20, providing that way to cross State Route 20, connecting the public shopping center over to Tommy Lee Fuller. Next slide is Jessica.
Andrew mentioned earlier some of the policy recommendations that we took a look at as a part of this study. One of those was to conduct a review on this current city code to really understand how we can better kind of local connectivity on some of the more kind of retail and commercial heavy corridors like 78. So the study actually looks specifically at that corridor and how the code today is written in order to really promote kind of local connectivity, really being able to maneuver around the parcels without having to get onto 78. If we go to the next slide, we have some kind of high-level recommendations here for the city to consider. This will require the city to kind of conduct some further study and really engage some stakeholders here in Loganville. But the initial ideas are really to create an overlay district, to look at US 78 with very specific provisions. We have a memorandum that kind of details some of the thoughts that we have there, and really to look at ways to promote shared access between the different parcels. So you're not having to go to 78 to go to the next lot over. These code review recommendations also include thoughts about bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure, again, to really be able to have people move back and forth from the lots without having to get into their vehicles. Next slide. Oh, that's my slide. So we have a slide here about funding sources. We did an extensive review on what federal, state, regional, local funding sources there are to be able to pay for some of the transportation improvements that we've come up with as a part of the study. There's a lot of financing and funding opportunities that we've had conversations with you all, with Georgia DOT, Gwinnett DOT, with ARC, and we've listed a couple of federal funding programs that Loganville should consider. And as a part of the study, I won't go through them in too much detail today, but there's a lot of, again, partnership opportunities, partner agencies who have been engaged through this process and who are willing to partner with Loganville as y'all move forward with this project list. And so making sure to stay engaged with them would be really great. We also, as a part of the funding memo, listed out some private funding sources. There's a lot of parks, greenway, trails funding that's available from private partners as well. And so that's something that Loganville can also consider as they move forward. Andrew?
All right, so this is our last slide. So in conclusion, we've had a few early wins from the study. Like I mentioned, GDOT District 1 is looking at funding for 2 of those projects through what they call their Forward program. We identified some traffic signal safety and upgrade enhancements that they're considering. And we have made a lot of progress with that Southside Access Road segment. We've helped develop that concept and then coordinated with GDOT's project manager to try to advance that. And so next steps, as Jessica mentioned, really are to now pursue the funding, pursue partnership funding for these projects, and talk with, GDOT District 1, Walton County and Gwinnett County are opportunities, and then future ARC calls for projects. So with that, last slide is really just answer any questions you may have. We're happy to, after the meeting, you can follow up with us. We're happy to answer questions as well, so.
Sure, I'd like to say too, though, what's, good about this whole process, I mean, Walton County was doing their comprehensive transportation plan during the process, and you all coordinated with them. That way, we're working on getting the same projects that are getting our same vision for both the Walton County and for the city. But also, as a result, I mean, even in your last public meeting, we had representatives from Gwinnett County that came, and I think, Danny, they may have even set up meetings with you all, starting some planning processes, and that's how we get these connections, just like Jessica mentioned about getting, setting up some of these projects that align with GDOT practice. That way, when we start trying to pull all these groups together and get that funding for that $45 million that we need for everything, great work. Especially, I mean, having potentially two projects already kind of in the works with District 1 is fabulous. So thank you. I just want to say I appreciate the work.
All right, you're welcome.
You want to repeat that figure you mentioned?
Well, it was $45 million. We haven't seen the final report, but it's coming.
With all the projects added together, we're looking between $40 and $45 million, which is a lot of money. So we got to find a lot of partners. One question I had, Andrew, for you. We are anticipating having another splosh on the ballot in November. How does GDOT look at counties who turn away from the splosh or vote it down?
How I would answer that question is, we often hear from GDOT that they want to help locals who are helping themselves. So if the locals are finding the money to help either start a project, start the design, partner with GDOT, then they are more able to help the locals. So there is a great opportunity with many of these projects where if the city can kind of start them or come to the table with some money, it helps GDOT get on board.
Okay, I have heard, and you hear a lot of things, but I've heard that if your county turns away from this splosh when the vote comes up, that many sources of funding go away. Is that true?
So I don't know if I've heard that, but and Jessica may have something to add here, but what we see, what I see a lot is when the local municipality has the money, for instance, a lot of GDOT projects need a 20% match. When the locals have that 20% and a splosh usually helps get that 20%, then GDOT doesn't pass you by to the next municipality that has the 20%. So maybe that answers your question.
It does.
Okay.
Just because we may very likely have an opportunity to vote on another splosh in November, and there are consequences if we do not go for it, while it's also recognized it's very difficult to ask people to tax themselves, and I understand. But there are things that work that go beyond the vote. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Mayor, I'd just like to say thanks to Robbie Swartz, who was the project leader for the city on this. He did it pretty much all by himself. I know Bill helped him a lot, depending on Bill, so Robbie put a lot of work into this, and we appreciate it. Kept a lot of work off of me.
Yeah, thank you, Robbie.
Yes, we appreciate Robbie as well, and it's been great working with the city.
Do you anticipate being here after the meeting like you were mentioning?
I can.
If they have questions, but we don't want them to stay if there's no questions, so if you...
And yes, so we are, to add to that point, we are finishing the report. Basically, we wanted to come tonight, make sure if there were any questions we need to address. We'll finish the report. We'll have time if there's, I'm sure Danny or Robbie can pass along any comments or questions to us and
Okay.
make sure to get that included.
Appreciate you being here, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Something to think about, isn't it? We will move now to the department reports. First department is Planning and Development. Chairwoman Linda Dodd.
Thank you, Mayor. As we mentioned,
Your mic
Monday...
on?
Yes, it is. As we mentioned Monday night, we announced the 4 candidates that were selected to go on the planning and zoning. And I guess now at this time, we have got to make a vote from the council. So I would like to recommend that the 4 people that were selected to go to be on the Planning and Zoning Commission Board, that we would vote this in, and then we can swear them in tonight.
Danny, is this the resolution you needed?
Well, I have a resolution, but I need to make sure the names are what I think they should say Monday, so once y'all vote, there will be a resolution on that, so y'all all can see.
Okay, so we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Do what?
Oh, you going to read that? You want to go ahead and read the names? Okay. All right. Keith Colquitt, Bill or William Williams, Barbara Foster, and Tiffany Ellis. Thank you.
Councilmember Dodd, if you would please amend your motion to include approving the resolution that you've been provided so that you can go ahead and pass that resolution.
So I make an amendment that we vote to pass this resolution that Danny has passed out to us, selecting the 4 members that we have voted on to become our next people on the Planning and Zoning Commission Board.
Okay, we have a resolution. We have a motion for a resolution. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. So moved. And I guess we're at a point now where we get down to the swearing in. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Right now? Yes, sir. You want to, Mayor, do you want to call up one at a time? Okay, do you want to do, you can do that as you swear them in.
Linda, I can call up.
Okay, that's fine.
Keith Colquitt? Come on up, Keith.
Mayor, you need a microphone.
Now, how am I going to do both of these?
There you go.
I have to be a contortionist. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Repeat after me, please. I, state your name,
I, Keith Colquitt,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will, in all aspects,
that I will in all aspects
observe the provisions of the Constitution of the United States of America,
observe the provisions of the Constitution of the United States of America,
the state of Georgia,
the state of Georgia,
the charter and ordinances
the charter and ordinances
of the city of Loganville,
of the city of Loganville,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
as a member of the Loganville Planning Commission,
as a member of the Loganville Planning Commission,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Okay, sworn this 14th day of April, 2022. Christie, I need your signature there. And if you would stay there, we'd like to get a couple pictures, Robbie.
I'm doing it.
Okay, you okay? Okay. Then if we could, Tiffany Ellis. We'll get you, Bill. We'll get you.
I thought I was predicting
We like to try to keep you guessing. Rick, you want to hold the Bible? You're welcome to. We put everybody to work around here. Right up here. Here you go, Rick. Left hand on the Bible. Raise your right hand. Okay.
I,
State your name.
Tiffany Ellis,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will in all aspects
that I will in all aspects
observe the provisions of the Constitution of the United States of America,
observe the provisions of the Constitution of the United States of America,
the state of Georgia,
the state of Georgia,
the charter and ordinances
the charter and ordinances
of the city of Loganville,
of the city of Loganville,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
as a member of the Loganville Planning Commission,
as a member of the Loganville Planning Commission,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Sworn this 14th day of April, 2022. Thank you so much. Great job, Rick. You gonna need to sign something like that? Okay. Barbara Forrester. Are you ready? Yeah. You gonna be able to put your right hand up? Come on closer to you. Come on up there. You okay? You okay? Okay. I state your name.
I, Barbara Forrester,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will in all aspects
that I will in all aspects
observe the provisions of the Constitution of the United States of America,
will observe the provisions of the Constitution of the United States of America,
great job, the state of Georgia,
the state of Georgia,
the charter and ordinances
the charter and ordinances
of the city of Loganville,
of the city of Loganville,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
as a member of the Loganville Planning Commission,
as a member of the Loganville Planning Commission,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Sworn this 14th day of April, 2022. Christie needs your signature. And the guy who is most anxious to get up here, Bill Williams. Right hand, please. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I state your name.
I, William Williams,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will in all aspects
that I will in all aspects
observe the provisions, ooh, that's a tough, of the Constitution of the United States of America,
observe the provisions of the Constitution of the United States of America,
the state of Georgia,
the state of Georgia,
the charter and ordinances
the charter and ordinances
of the city of Loganville,
of the city of Loganville,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
as a member of the Loganville Planning Commission,
as a member of the Loganville Planning Commission,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Sworn this 14th day of April, 2022.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations. Christie needs you over there. Okay, what's your plan for photos? Okay. All right, group shot, that's what I was trying to work out, but I got vetoed again. Come on up front real quick, we'll get you squared away. You got some newspaper here too.
Everybody look this way. 1, 2, 3. And one more time. 1, 2, 3.
Very good, thank you all, and we'd also like to take a moment to thank all the people who are serving on committees in our city, and thank all those who have served before. We appreciate it, we thank you, and we look forward to continuing to develop an even greater city as we go into the future. Thank you. Okay, Linda, is there anything else?
No, sir, you did a fine job, and thank you.
I think I'm the one being worked the most here tonight.
I'll tell you what.
Oh.
You gotta
Hey,
earn your
that's what
pay.
it's supposed to be, that's right.
Got to earn your pay.
Okay, we'll move to the next committee, Finance, Human Resources, Chairwoman Ann Hunsinger.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have nothing to present tonight. Everything is on consent.
Again, we did a lot of things on the consent agenda. Okay, we'll move now to Public Safety Committee, Chairman Jay Bowen.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, I like to have fun. I like to goof around. I dress up as Buddy the Elf for the Christmas parade. If Chrissy asks me to do the dump tank, I'll do that for a few hours in the freezing cold, no problem. So I'm sitting here looking at Janice Turbo Monday night, And Janice Dribble's a wonderful woman. She's been very influential in my life. And she's big with Special Olympics, so I'm thinking, okay, all right. And then, so we get the tasers going. And of course, I'm thinking, get them new tasers, I'll get shot with one. Let's raise $1,000 and I'll get shot. It was a good idea, and I still would do it, but the next day, you talk to some people, and you got to kind of read between the lines, and they said, it's a good idea, but let's come up with something maybe a little safer. Because, it hurts. Now, I had a lot of money raised, and I think those people have already told me, let's come up with something, and Dick's going to come up with ideas, and former Councilwoman Newberry's got some ideas. So we're going to do something, because I got a lot of money for the Special Olympics that wants to come in. My mom even offered $100. Why would my mom want to see me get tased? Like, what the hell? So anyways, we're going to revisit it, we're going to pivot, but I wanted to just button that up, because, anyways, that's it. That's all I have.
I think that's a good year.
Yeah, we'll do something, I don't know, we'll do something, but...
I don't want anything to happen.
Can you imagine if I got tased and went out that way? That would suck.
I don't believe anyone with the Special Olympics would ever want to put anybody's health and safety in jeopardy. They are a wonderful group, and
Well, Dick was fired up because the new one's got 2 cartridges, so Dick was ready, like, boom, boom.
And he was talking about using 3 or 4 at
I
the
know
same
it hurts,
time.
but that hurts you. I'm tougher than you are.
However, I did call Dick Lowry this morning as our chief of police, and I asked him if this were to continue and we were to go this direction, how would this be handled? And I would like for you, just because you're here, to be aware of how it would have been handled had we done it. Dick, would you just take a minute and share, please, because it's not what you think.
Mr. Mayor, so just so there's no misunderstanding, for anybody who has ever been what we call exposed to a taser, they are not much fun. They're not designed to be. They're actually designed to give us a bridge between hands-on and deadly force, and they're very effective for that. In fact, Monday night, any of y'all that were here, Greg and I had to run out. We had an emergency situation come up, and had we not had our officers equipped with tasers, pretty high probability that would have been a deadly force incident. So it was not, and we're very thankful for that. So when we do these exposures, initially, in the early days of tasers gaining prominence in law enforcement, they actually required officers that were going to carry it to receive a shot from it. Now, that didn't mean that you had to be shot with the darts. There's alligator clips. It still hurts, but you don't have the darts in your back. But for those of us who went to instructor school, the alligator clips were not optional. You had to take the full ride, which is 5 seconds, and it is absolutely the longest 5 seconds you'll ever spend doing anything in your life. Outside of maybe stepping in a bear trap, I've never done that, but Greg and I have both done it. As an instructor in the taser, I think my count is 8 times that I've had the full dart shot in my back, the whole 9 yards. And I, in all honesty, I told Mr. Boland that I really wish you wouldn't do that. Because, I mean, there are provisions, y'all. I have had people, not police officers, civilians, that as part of, Citizens Police Academies, there is a release, and it is possible to do that. But when we do that, you can't do it, and we didn't want anybody to think that we were considering doing this. You can't do it where we get to the Public Safety Committee and Mr. Boland comes right out here in front and Greg or I pops him with a taser and goes and sits back down. It's not quite that simple. It's done in a very controlled manner. There are pads that have to be in place on the floor. We have to have what we call a spotter on each side because so somebody doesn't fall and get hurt. We don't issue those spotters out with people who try to fight with us in the public, but for our own people we do. You have to have eye protection, not only for the person who's being tased, the spotters, the instructor, and anybody else that's within a certain distance. And we follow those guidelines because although we are joking about it now, certainly they are not toys. And when I talked with Mr. Boland and the mayor and Danny, I agree it was 100% opportunity to raise some money for this great cause. And I told him if he wanted to do a dunk tank, although I didn't consider the weather. Depends on the time frame, I guess, but I told him I would do that with him. So if y'all like him but don't like me, you can pay your money and dunk me. So that's how it works.
I'd like to tell everybody here, because everybody may come on meetings, but I'd like for everybody here to know what our police department has done for Walton County Special Olympics. Before the pandemic.
Janice, wait a minute, Janice, can we save that for community feedback? We'll get you.
Okay, but I want everybody here to be able to.
I understand. I got it.
I want to brag on the police department.
We all do. You got it. Thank you, Dick. Appreciate it, Chief Lowry. I got a little concerned yesterday when I was reading Facebook, and I read on there, let's raise a lot of money and we can light his ass up. And
Yes, my wife was saying that stuff. It was my wife. Like, what the heck's going on?
you have to forgive me, but I got concerned. So thank you for resolving that situation. Okay, and now we will move to Public Utilities and Transportation. Chairman Bill Duvall.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had one item that was added to the consent agenda, but I did want to take this opportunity to say that this week is National Work Zone Awareness Week, and Georgia set a theme of work zones are a sign to slow down. So those black on orange signs that we all see out there where we're trying to get work done, we need to make sure we're cognizant of where we're driving through those. It's an annual observance that basically sheds light on the dangers of traveling through work zones. There's workers, our city workers, contractors, passengers, pedestrians, drivers going through there. Just to let you know, in 2021 in Georgia, there were 12,300 work zone-related crashes. Now, I don't mean accidents. Accidents are a myth. It's crashes in Georgia relating to over 4,000 injuries and 63 fatalities. So 54% of those work zone crashes were from either roadway departure or from rear end, slamming on the brakes and getting hit or traveling too close. It goes both ways. 17 of fatalities were related to motor vehicles, commercial vehicles, and there were 7 pedestrian fatalities. But work zone safety is everyone's responsibility. I just wanted to say that, but beyond that, I have no other action.
Very good. It's something good to know and to remember. Those people out there working, their lives are on the line, and if we get too close, bad things happen. It's just the way it is. Thank you, Bill. We'll move to Public Works Facilities. Chairwoman Melanie Long.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I just want to talk about this publicly. We have Barbie Hughes, Barbie that has the Barbie Hughes restaurant here. I know a lot of y'all support her and you've been following her journey. I was made aware this week that her chemo has been working and her tumors have shrank to half their size, and she is now eligible for operation. And she's going to be closed for about 4 to 6 weeks during that recovery time. So before she goes in for surgery, if y'all want to stop in and support her, give her a little extra love. But things are looking good for Barbie, and I wanted to share that with everybody. As far as the other stuff, it looks like we're all starting to get into the spring cleaning here. I've got some numbers here. The chipping route for March, we had 644 stops that yielded 24.25 tons of debris. So everybody's out doing their yard work this spring, getting that ready. Our dump day, we had another successful dump day. We had 179 loads brought in, and they filled up 10 dumpsters, and I believe we ended up having to turn some people away because we ran out of dumpsters. Danny, you said you even brought in extra dumpsters for that.
Yeah, we had to rob from top of the hill from the waste management company, but it's okay. We're paying for it.
We don't have any numbers yet. I know a lot of y'all brought in and shredded some documents with the wonderful event we had for that. And weekly, Danny sends a group of guys out to do some trash pickup. On Baker Carter, they picked up 5 bags of trash that was 108 pounds. They picked up 5 bags of trash on Tommy Lee Fuller that was 120 pounds. And on Bay Creek, we picked up 10 bags of trash that totaled 305 pounds. So everybody looks like we're trying to clean up and get ready for summer and make our city look great, and I appreciate everybody. And hopefully we can do another dump day in the fall. Is that correct? Okay, thank you. And that's all I have, Mayor.
I would add to that, please, we need to work really hard to keep our trash in our cars. We're throwing out too much trash, all of us. We don't have enough people to clean it up, and we could do a lot better. It's just difficult. It really is, so please bear with us. Melanie, did you mention the May 7th community cleanup? Do you want to?
I don't have that.
Okay. You got it? You want to cover it, Brandon? You got it on your card?
It's just May 7th for the community cleanup is the makeup date for the one that got rescheduled.
Right.
I've been to them before. They're pretty fun. They just, well, it's fun enough. They pretty much will give you a street, and they'll give you the gloves and the trash bag and the little grabbers, and they'll put you in a group of people, and they'll say, clean up the street, and they'll let you go, and you can bring the bags back, and we collected a good bit of trash the last 2 times that we've done it. Please come out. We always could use volunteers for this event.
Okay, and that's one way you can help your city. So we appreciate it. Anything else, Melanie? Okay, thank you.
Mayor, I have one thing I want to talk about right quick, because it's all over Facebook, or was, and we certainly got emails here. The road next off of Baker Carter goes to Logan Point. There's a side road. That is a private road. We do not enforce the trash on that road. We make the property owner clean it up, but we cannot go on that road and clean up the trash because it is a private road. It'd be no different than me coming to your house and picking up trash behind your house. Code enforcement has issued several citations. Tim, correct me if I'm wrong, to the property owner. He has cleaned up. We were told he was going to barricade. Is that still barricade the road to keep people from coming and dumping mattresses and tires and everything else? So just want to let everybody know we are aware of it, and we stay on top of it, but we do have to follow the law as far as notice of violations and court dates. So once the court citation is issued, we cannot make any more contact until it goes before the judge. So just don't think
Can we also make him mow the sides of the road?
That is
It's
an
up about 4
undeveloped
feet high.
lot, and you cannot enforce something that's undeveloped. It's like a pasture. I can't make somebody with a pasture cut their grass. Tim, am I correct on that statement? Thank you. That's what I thought.
Well, one good thing is they're out there today doing a lot of work on that hill on the right side, so that's going to take some of it away, but it's just so easy for somebody to pull the car down there, cut the lights off, and dump the stuff. I mean, it's just easy. Not many cars go through there at all. Okay, very good.
One more thing. Please, for the love of God, if you see somebody dumping, do not call City Hall. Call 911. Let them catch them. If you call me, I'm going to call them. They're going to call dispatch. The person's going to be gone. There's nothing we can do for you. If you see something, do not email, do not see Click Fix. Call 911. That's what these guys are for, and that's what the 911 center is for. If it's a non-emergency, you just tell them it's not an emergency. They will still take your information because they can dispatch the police a lot quicker than I can. Chiefs, y'all want to say anything else about that? That goes for anything.
I agree. It goes for anything. The different methods of reporting things, see, Click Fix, and things like that, that comes to my email. But I do occasionally sleep at night, and I'm not going to see it for hours later. Please call 911. And I know a lot of people say that I don't want to call 911 if it's not an emergency. That is the fastest way to get in touch with us, period. Please call while they're doing it. I'll be honest with y'all, where I live on North Sharon Church Road, I'm the first house in the city limits, so I got a big city limit sign at the edge of my property. And I don't know how many times I can tell you I've heard, bam, when they throw beer bottles at and all. Now, a time or two I've caught them, and all they have to pick that up, but all the other stuff in my yard. So please call us, because I assure you we will cite them. please.
Didn't I understand you said that if you call the non-emergency number, it's still the same as not calling 911?
No, 911.
It's better to call 911. You can do it, but it's better to call 911 because that's always a recorded line.
And also, parking on the streets, if you can't get in, call 911. If you take a picture and send it to us, that's great, but they can't enforce on the picture. Call them guys and let them handle it.
Is there a possibility of deer cameras being set up or something like that on any of these properties?
What kind of cameras?
Like, I'm
Still can't enforce it. It's unenforceable because they have to witness it, somebody breaking the law.
Okay.
Yeah, we do have laws. We have to abide by them. Thanks, everybody. Okay, we'll move now to economic development. Chairman Brandon Whitfield.
I have no actionable items tonight. They're all on consent. But I do want to remind everybody what's upcoming in May. The movie will be getting out of here and our event schedule will pick up. May 5th is the National Day of Prayer at noon in front of City Hall right here. The Wing Fling is May 7th, 10 to 3 p.m. at the Town Green. That is a very fun event. I've been going there the last few years. The Carnival will be back in town the 12th through the 15th of May, and Bags and Barbecue on the 14th of May. And then our first in the concert series, Groovin' on the Green, is May 20th, featuring A1A, the Jimmy Buffett Tribute Band. And then the 21st, we have the Masters Car Show, 9 a.m. to 3. And I'm sorry, Chrissy wasn't here to do this. She'd do a lot better job than I do.
You did fine. It's going to be a busy month in May. Thank you, Brandon. With that, we'll go to the city manager's report.
I got a few items. One, we'll be closed tomorrow for Good Friday, so don't forget Easter and what it's about. Also, the LDA committee will be a called council meeting April the 21st at 6 p.m. If you are a candidate and you have not sent your affidavit, please send it in. We had a deadline for tomorrow, but we were closed, so we extended it till 5 p.m. on Monday, this following Monday. So that will be a called council meeting, open to the public, for all the interested parties that want to come.
That'll be the interviews.
Yes,
And
that's correct.
selections.
Same format as the P&Z, 6 p.m., 8:15 hard stop. There are 7 questions this time instead of 5, I think it was, and we'll email those questions out Monday to the applicants. Baby geese out front. Watch out for mom and dad because they are on the prowl. They had 2 of them out of 4 eggs. Sorry? Oh, well, don't you worry, they see you. Brandon and I got about 100 feet from him, and old Daddy was about to come and get us.
Stay away, stay away.
Yeah, stay away from him.
You did it last year.
You gotta go near the geese.
No. Melanie Long almost got me bad last year. No. Go out that door.
And
Danny,
for all
is that part of your comments?
what's that?
Go ahead.
Okay. They can say what they want to. They're the bosses. So when they speak, I shut up. Janice and all the other candidates that serve, thank you for your service. Don't be a stranger. And on a sad note, Chief Lowry may want to talk about this, may not, but Bill McGee was a longtime police officer, 30-plus years. He was an employee, not only fire and police here. He did actually succumb to cancer, I believe, today or yesterday, last night. So I know you can keep his family in your prayers. He was currently employed with the Sheriff's Office of Walton County. He had retired, okay. So just say a few words of prayer for that family. And I'll let Ms. Robin have it.
Okay, we'll move to the city attorney's updates and reports.
I did all my damage Monday night. I have no actionable items.
Trust me, she was very talkative Monday night. Very talkative. Okay, with that, we need a motion to adjourn, please. We have a motion. Do we have a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, meeting is now adjourned. And now we move into our community feedback. I've got a couple of folks, and Janice, I got you second. Vicki Wilbell is here with the Fine Arts Society of Loganville. And she knows she has 3 minutes.
I do. I've got my slides. Yeah, my name is Vicki Robel, and I am the president of the newly formed Loganville Fine Arts Society. last fall, a few people started talking about how we would like to see more fine arts here in Loganville, and they talked to some more people, and they talked to some more people, and next thing you know, in January, we ended up actually forming an actual group, Loganville Fine Arts Society. The communities around us are quite active in the arts. Monroe has we still call it the Art Guild, even though it has a different name now for arts. Very active theater. Winders, Social Circle, Conyers all have active theaters. If you go a little bit farther out than that, you can find all kinds of arts. And we wanted to incorporate that and get Loganville involved in those things so we don't have to drive to those other cities. I'm going to read this exactly because it is our mission. The Loganville Fine Arts Society wants to promote and nurture the arts and art culture in Loganville by increasing exposure to a variety of fine arts through events such as exhibitions and performances. We aim to create a platform for local artists to promote their work. We aspire to provide facilities that allow artists to showcase their talents. That is our official, this is what we are trying to do. We want to differentiate ourselves from the surrounding areas by actually focusing on 3 areas of art. We want to have the visual arts, we want to incorporate music, we want to do the dramatic arts. Most of the people around us tend to focus on just one. Lots of theaters around us, not as much for the music and the visual arts. In this, our inaugural year, we hope to participate in the Battle of the Bands, have an art show for our local artists, and also to present a theatrical production in December for the holidays. Ambitious for a brand new group, but I think it's doable, and I think we have a good team pushing that forward. We look forward to working with the City of Loganville to accomplish these goals and future goals. We are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, you can find us on Google even, so please do not hesitate to reach out and get more information, ask us questions, and thank you for your time.
Very good. You had 20 more seconds, I think, wasn't it? 30? Pretty good, pretty good. Okay. Janice, I promised you could come up and community feedback.
You want me to just sit? Okay. I do want to tell everybody, and I want everybody to hear about the police department. That's why I said, let me do this. Helen and I have been doing Special Olympics in Loganville, and they're Walton County Special Olympics. All the kids that we service go to school here. Hey, Margaret. And we just want you to know that we love all of our children. And back when the police came in and started helping us with finances, that's when we kept Special Olympics alive. Because we were just about to go under without money because we were all giving, trying to have enough to do what the kids need to do. The state of Georgia does not give us one dime. So when you give to Special Olympics, you be sure to give to Walton County because we pay their way everywhere, we pay for their traffic to go places, we pay for their shirts and everything. There's 6 people on our committee. Our budget runs about $25,000 a year. And the first time the police gave us $4,000, we had $200 in the bank and we were fixing to owe $3,700. So that was a long time ago. Before the pandemic, this is what's so exciting. They did the Donut Dash. That was the last one we've had time to do. The police did that, and they gave us over $11,000. And you think that doesn't touch your heart when you're trying. These children have nobody else to help them except us. We do, and this police department, Walton EMC, there's so many people. The city people in Loganville, Georgia came and helped us cook 600 hot dogs the last time. I know you guys are ready to go home. You don't want to talk all night, but I have to say one more thing. I want to say thank you to all the people that have allowed me to serve on planning and zoning for years ago, 8 years, this time 14. I love everybody that I've worked with. Melissa can't be with me tonight. Barbara's worked with me. And you know, there's so many people that I love in Loganville. But most of all, I love this town. And if you think that, oh, Janice Tribble's going to be gone, I won't have to listen to her mouth anymore, you're wrong. Because I guarantee you, I'm going to be here, I'm going to say what I think. If I don't like something, I'm going to say that too. I want to say a special thank you tonight to Melanie and Jay for how good they've been to me since I found out I wasn't coming back Monday night as a surprise. Then I also want to say a special thank you to Ann Huntsinger, who gave me a call yesterday. She said, I want to tell you why I voted you last. She was very honest with me. I loved her, and I knew what she was going to say before she told me. She said, I know you would never vote for what I want to do, and that's building this community up. And there's a lot of things I don't want to happen. I don't want to see all those apartments. And I've said I've been so honest with everybody. So don't ever say, oh, I didn't know Janice felt like that. I'm sorry, my time is up. I'm doing two things, so I get an extra minute or two. Okay. So anyway, I like to talk. I want to work with you people. And God in heaven knows, nobody loves this town more than Harold Tribble and I. Nobody has supported it more. Danny...
And you all appreciate it.
Danny Roberts is our son. We claim him. I hope you know that. And he always will be. I taught him when he was in 3-year-old kindergarten, 4-year-old, and 5-year-old. And we love Danny. So don't ever think that the Tribbles are going to be out of sight, because they're not, because the chief of police lets Harold drive around town all the time, even though he's legally blind. Okay? I love y'all all. God bless you, one and all.
Thank you, Janice. Thank you. Okay, the floor is open to anyone who would like to speak. Yes, sir. Come on up front. Give us your name, if you would, and where you live when you get up front. We'd just like to know who's speaking.
Good evening, council. My name is Robert Walker. I live at 340 Randy Road in Loganville. If the ones that don't know about the address, I live at the second house from the new water tank. Okay? My question tonight is, I've got a neighbor across the street that's got a license for an automotive repair shop, which I've never seen one car worked on since he's lived there. But that's not the question at hand. The question at hand is he's got a commercial nursery in his backyard. He's got numerous 75 to 100 to 125 pots, gallon pots, big planters with trees in them, and it's an eyesore. I'm questioning the council why there's not an ordinance to stop commercial nursery growth in the city limits of Loganville.
On private property.
Private property. It's on private property and residential. Like I said, my home's the second home from the water tank. The water tank, truth is an eyesore. But I'm more concerned about the plants over there because the ditch is overgrown, his fence is overgrown. I've seen 2 snakes come out of there in the early spring or summer months. And Bill Braswell from City of Loganville has been out there twice to clean out the ditch. It doesn't need to be scraped out, it needs to be cleaned out. It needs to be dug out from the driveway of the water tank all the way to Randy Road and Teresa Lane. But I don't know what the ordinance are in Loganville. I'm not aware of them. But I don't mind free enterprise. But also, I think brings the value of the houses down too.
Okay. We have a gentleman that does our ordinance, reinforces our ordinances. Tim, have you got all the information you need? We'll take a look and go from there. We appreciate the input. Thank you.
Okay. Appreciate it, council.
Yes, sir. Thank you. But do me one favor. Do me one favor, please. Be aware that it may or it may not be a fast process. A lot of it depends on the property owner. It is a process, and if we judge it needs to be addressed with citations and going to court, that's what will happen.
Yeah.
But it's not a fast process.
Well, I was kind of instructed that the only way they could be doing anything illegal would to be take their plants and sell them off the back of their backyard onto the street. That's what I was told. So they're not breaking the law until they sell their trees or plants until they get out on Randy Road, which I don't think they'll do that. I do believe they will haul them out of there when they see fit to sell them. But the houses in question, there's 350 Randy Road, 340, and 330, and 320. There's 4 houses. Our front yards, driveways, face the side of their backyard, the fence.
I got you.
So it's the eyesore that we look at every time we go out our front door.
You got it, Tim? Tim is our planning and zoning director. Thank you. Okay, the floor is open. Anyone? We really have to stick to this 3-minute deal with this person.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
It's on, okay. I just wanted to let everybody know about the musical that's coming up at the high school the next couple weekends. They're doing Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I may personally know Willy Wonka, but I do want to let you know, because these kids work really, really hard on these productions, hours after school, hours before school, during school. It's April 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 29th, and 30th at 7 p.m. And you can go on the Loganville High School Facebook page and webpage, and you can get tickets. And I sound so nervous, and I'm not. But anyway, please, please, please come support the LHS Pitchfork Players is what they're called. They would love to see you in the audience. Thank you.
That's in the evening,
It's in the evening, 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
Yeah, starting next weekend and the next.
And the fee is?
$10.
$10. Okay.
And it all goes directly to the drama program, which is not funded by the county at all.
Well, we certainly need to support our young people, no doubt about it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Okay, anyone else?
I have one more thing, Mayor, sorry. But Christie reminded me. Also, former Councilwoman Sarah Bacon, she passed away.
You're right.
Sunday, so just remember her family. I don't know if Bill Bacon and them are still...
I think both Sarah and Bill served on the council in the past. Bill did not, but Sarah did.
Yeah, so just...
And I believe she's been living in North Carolina for the last 4.5 years.
I believe so.
South Carolina, Greenwood, because that's where she's from.
Greenwood.
She and Bill are officially divorced.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So just
Okay.
remember them. Thank you.
Anyone else? Going once, going twice. We're going to wrap it up. Thank you for being here.